I got assigned to golf company, and everybody called it Goofy Golf. And I think went out with golf probably about August, right around the middle of August. And on September 13th, we were on a patrol, and the guy in front of me tripped the Booby Trap, and we all got wounded. There was three of us, and two of us were still alive, and the guy in front got killed. And then I thought, to this day, up until probably 10 years ago, that the guy that tripped it was alive. But I finally researched, he lasted 19 days and then he died. And so I got medevac to Cameron Bay, spent 3 weeks there, came back, and then got assigned to a hotel company about the 1st of November, the end of October, 1st of November of '68. And I stayed with them until July of '69. Yeah, so that's how I ended up in a hotel company. I was the guy that called in the airstrikes and the medevacs and the gunships and everything. I was called Tactical Air Control Party. I was the forward observer for air is what I was. So I was lucky in that I got to stay in a command platoon. I didn't have to walk a point. I didn't have to go out on patrols. All I had to do was call in airstrikes and medevacs and gunships and all that stuff when we got into the trouble and stuff. So an hotel company was so much better than golf. I was blessed to be able to get assigned to them. I really was. When the bullets were flying, you had a job to do. My job was, in most cases, was to get air in. And when you engage the enemy, the first thing you do is naturally you'd have them with 60 mortars thrown out there and stuff. Then they'd call in artillery right away because we could do that. But we couldn't bring air in if artillery's in the air. So I was the last one. So I'm trying to get contact with them, saying that and you had to call what kind of weapon. You call wall-to-wall nape, which was all napalm. If you were in the jungle where there was bunkers and things like this, we liked napalm because they hated it. But if you were in mountainous areas and stuff like this, or where you'd bring in snake eyes, which were 500-pound bombs, so you'd have to sit there and tell them what you would prefer. And a lot of times it was mixed, and then you'd be talking with them and trying to get them online. Then you'd have to coordinate with the artillery people to knock off the artillery so the jets could come in and bomb and everything. So you were busy. I mean, because I felt it was my duty. I had the most power of weapons of anybody in that whole company, and I had to use them correctly at the right time to get us out of this shit so we could save a lot of lives. And I took that very personal. I did. I loved my job. I mean, because it was a job, as I look back on, of protecting and getting us out of a bad situation. So I was very, very, I think Captain Drez was, I think I was very good at it. And the reason I was good at it because lives were dependent upon all that. And we had to get it done. And we had to save these people. Our buddies, our friends, our comrades, our brothers, everything. So anyhow, I took it. So I never thought about the bullets were flying. I was too busy trying to get us out of those bullets. Yeah, Operation Meade River. We're pinned down in the rice paddy. We got some wounded and everything else like this, and they're dug in like crazy into this village and tree line, and we finally get air in, so because they've dropped the artillery and everything, air's coming in. And we had, normally they'd come in and they'd do these low ordnance drops. They'd be 100 feet over your head and come in and just drop those bombs and then pull off. Well, for some reason, the last bombers that came in, and there was 2 planes to a flight, and so one would come in and the next one, and they'd always drop, and they'd usually do 4 passes. Anyhow, the last one, he decides, and there's napalm, and napalm, if you ever knows the cancer, they don't have fins on it or anything else. They tumble. They sound like a freight train coming in. They go whoosh, 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 whoosh. And they're just no nose cone on them, no nothing. They're just cylinders filled with napalm that blow up. Anyhow, the guy does a high ordnance drop, and he does it behind us. So here you are. We're sitting there in the rice paddy, and Gunny Jackson looks at me and he goes, Neff, what the hell did you do? We're all gonna die. He sees the canisters coming down over the top, and there's a banana tree about this big around. He's hiding behind it. And I look at him and say, Gunny, that's not gonna do you a goddamn bit of good. If we're gonna die, we start laughing. Anyhow, they come over the top, they hit perfect, they didn't get us or anything else like that. But that's kind of the situation sometimes. You gotta laugh. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta laugh. I mean, so there were some good times out there too. There really was, yeah. I did not carry an M16, just a 45 caliber pistol. You had so much you had to carry. The M16 would get in the way of the radio and the antennas and everything. And the way it was, literally, if they got to me, there was a lot of M16s laying on the ground that I could pick up. Seriously, I have to admit, they were protecting us in the middle. So I never felt the need to carry an M16. But you had so much stuff. You had different antennas, you had extra batteries, you had this. And your job wasn't to fire a rifle. Our job was to bring in airstrikes and get us out of it. Yes, I did have one time to fire it. We had gotten overrun the night before. I mean, when you get overrun, you just get in your foxholes and you call artillery right on top of you because they're inside the perimeter. I mean, get up the next morning. I mean, when daylight hits, we didn't sleep obviously or anything, and we had to go out and start patrolling bodies and stuff like this. And hopefully we'd already gotten our people, but there was a lot of dead enemy out there. And I remember grabbing, and I had my 45 out because, I mean, you never know what you're... And I grabbed this one guy and pulled him off, and the guy underneath him was alive, and he started to go for his AK-47. And literally, it's probably from ear to ear. I sat there and fired, I think, all 9 shots. I think I only hit him 3 times. That's the only time I ever had to use the 45, yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, when I came back, I got stationed at Camp Pendleton, I think, for 3 months, and then I was out. So during that time, you were still in, so you had the short hair, and everybody knew you could wear whatever clothes they knew you were military. So you kind of decided where you went and when you went. There was a lot of play, and I was stationed at Camp Pendleton. Luckily, a guy I was in Vietnam with, we called him Mouse, Lawrence. Anyhow, he had gotten out, and he lived in Belmont Shores in California. And so we connected, and so a lot of times, if on the weekend I'd go up and I'd see him and his girlfriend, and we'd do things, but as Arab was growing out by that time, and he knew where to go and everything else like that. So you were aware that when you were there. And so as soon as I got out, I took the uniform off, grew my hair out. I had hair then. And really didn't tell anybody that I was there or did what I did or that I was in the Marine Corps. A lot of people never knew because there just wasn't anything said back in 1970, 71, 72, 73. And by that time, got married to my wife, who I'm still married to 54 years later. She's put up with me all this time. Got 2 beautiful daughters who are actually coming tonight to the banquet. And brought my life back around, and I remember going to the VA hospital and telling them that when I came home, I never went to Vietnam. I had a twin brother that went to Vietnam, and he told me all about it. But I wasn't the one that went. He went, and I'm the same guy that I was before I went. And that's kind of the way I distinguished it for myself, and it made it so much simpler that way. Yeah. My company commander, who is absolutely, my dad was number 1, and Captain Dress was number 2 as far as fluency on my life of how a man acts and what you do and the right way to do it. And Captain Dress did everything in Vietnam the right way. To be honest to God, I can't say enough about the man. He had the most influence on me of anybody, but by him and my dad, I just picked my life up and said, hey, you got a wife, you got family, you got to take care of them, and just that was something that happened, and it happened, but that's just the way it is. Get on with your life, make something of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your friends, and try to be the best person you can be. And that's kind of the way I've tried to live my life. I haven't always succeeded, obviously, but that's what my goal is. And I try to appreciate every day and try to honor the ones that ever got to be the 20 or 21 or 22 that we left behind. You know, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Every time you start to feel sorry for yourself, say, shut the hell up. You know, you're alive. I'm 75 years old. I'm very, other than this, which was Agent Orange, finally got me on it. But life's good. Life's good. It really is. Yeah.